Yo. Look at me hitting exactly the fade out. Is that an impressive intro? Oh, I shaved. I'm looking at the camera. I forgot. What's up? I guess we released the Survivor rewatch, which is not a huge surprise. Did I shave for Mother's Day? Sure. I'll claim that. Oh my God. Man Wolf is back. Katie, watch out. Man Wolf is slowly, let me rephrase that, quickly taking over your role. Great job on cleaning up the audio. I didn't even notice. Yeah, I just had to re-record the episode audio completely and then sync up our audio with that. It really wasn't that obnoxious. I was just trying to fix the audio itself instead of just creating new audio, basically, but it ended up fine. But how are you guys? Yo, it's been 2 days. So, I know, look, I know how you guys get when I don't stream every day. You know, when you don't have, my content teat to suckle from. That's how I describe it. But don't worry. It's feeding time. I don't know how I just, it's a gift. I'm a wordsmith. It's been 3 days. Oh boy. Viewership just dropped dramatically. Good. There's more milk to go around. Happy Mother's Day. Woo! Any mothers in chat? And I don't mean slang mothers. I mean, like, mother of children. Any Quinn content coming soon? Bad news. Me and Quinn had a huge falling out. I hate that guy now. It happens, hey. You win some, you lose some. Is your mom here? I hope not. I hope she's living the dream. Quinn and I have been talking. There's like a trip we're trying to do, but it's just got to line up with the dates, and we've got like the cruise, and there's a lot of things. I remember the tweet first week of BB25 saying you were the mother of the season. I think I had an era where I was the mother of the season, perhaps. I think, right when I dressed up in Blue's clothing, I had a small window where you can make that argument. But I was competing against some hefty competition in that department. It was a competitive one. I think I made this presentation about like all the mothers throughout the seasons. BB25 was one of the seasons with the most. It was, I think, the second most of all of them. Hey, Cory, I'm Anthony. What's up, Anthony? Quinn yesterday said he wanted to sink the cruise ship and start a content grind and make millions before you guys get back to shore. I'm trying to follow. So Quinn's not going to be on the boat, sink the boat, and then he thinks because all of us are gone, he's going to have like a much bigger audience. Like he's going to get more of the BB audience pie chart. Is that his philosophy? With how much America talks about babies, we're going to have to start calling her a mother. Here's the thing about America. She talks a lot about having babies, but she talks even more about not having babies. So like the net baby talk is still easily not having a baby ever. Whereas I talk about like neither basically. So, hey, Danny Reyes had to drop out of the cruise. The good thing is when you have 50 fucking people on the cruise, one person dropping isn't the end of the world, but obviously Danielle would have been awesome to meet, and she's probably, I don't know if the biggest name, but she's up there. She's definitely one of those S-tier guests. We're looking at the cruise schedule on one of these other streams. We're not doing Big D attempts today. I feel like it would be in poor taste considering it's Mother's Day. Perhaps on Father's Day, we'll do a lot of Big D attempts. In a way, you could say Big D is mother, but I wouldn't. His plan is you all stay stuck at sea with a satellite phone or whatever and stream your way back to become millionaires. I think he overestimates how much people would care. At least young Cedric joined the cruise. I found out about that today. It's fire. Love Cedric. Fuck it. IRL stream from the cruise. I'm sure there'll be one piece of content coming out of the cruise. I have no idea what it is. Yeah. So if you bought a ticket to see someone specifically and they drop out, do you get a refund? This might come as a surprise. H2O. I don't know. It's not exactly my department. My role on the cruise is to entertain and basically exist. The That side of it, I'm not sure. Also, I think when a lot of people bought the tickets initially, she wasn't even announced, right? Are you going to roast Cedric in your comedy act? Nah, because if I see Cedric cry, I'll start crying. Season 1 of Devil's Plan, you didn't tell me it was this complicated. I didn't like Devil's Plan. But I'm very much in the minority on that one. I know that's a hot take. 10 a.m. comedy show, going to be sold out. I'm just hoping it's all fans. The more alum, the more worrying it might be. Young Cedric is too nice to roast. Hey, wait till you spend some off-camera hours with Cedric. Dude is super nice. Bit of a menace as well. That's good, Night Cheese. That's a huge improvement. The Season 1 format is very, very flawed. I'm going to start the content wheel right now because I don't want to stream too long. It's only going to be about an hour-ish stream. We're going to go through the Big Brother Reddit. There's only 1 or 2 posts that are new and kind of interesting, and then we'll do the presentation, and then we'll get out of here. So everyone can go, have dinner with their mothers or call their mothers or have nothing to do with their mothers and just consume social media. Reddit time. We need like a phrase for Reddit time. Let's go. Shoop. Okay. What's the strategic lesson of BB24? Before I open this, I want to give you because I haven't looked into these posts. I think the strategic lesson from the season. It's an interesting question. I think there's 2. Number 1 is don't underestimate the power of a great story. I think it's very, very important. Like, I think people, for a while, it was all about big moves and the game bot and who played the best strategic game and all these things. When the truth is, like, if someone's able to get to the final 2 chairs against all odds, regardless of how highly you view their game, the story is often more powerful. I think that's one thing. Number 2 is something that I took away and I brought into BB25, and it didn't really work for me. The power of that, this is like a lesson as a player, that mid-season alliance could be huge. So many seasons, since BB16 basically, the play was day 2, make your final 2, day 3, make your big alliance, win the game, right? Onion alliance, whittle it down, go from there. So Jag tried to do on BB25. I watched Big Brother Canada 10 and BB24. Those are kind of 2 of my big references going into BB25. And that mid-season alliance, I think, is so, so powerful, whether it's the leftovers or whether it's kind of that ragtag group Kevin Jacobs put together on the Tanisha vote. So, like, I think so often when you find that target and that middle, week 4 to week 7, something like that, and you're able to form a group around getting that target out, it could very quickly determine the end of the game. That's what I tried to do with, Matt, Jag, America, and Bowie and them, and, it worked to an extent, I suppose. It worked for them. So I think those are my 2 lessons from the season. Don't underestimate the idea of a good story, and that mid-season power structure is often more powerful than the early season power structure, which I think is a bit of a flip from what we would usually consider conventional Big Brother strategy. What do they think? Outsiders don't just have to lay over and die when they get together and do something. Yeah, it's basically the same point. Being on the bottom for a couple of weeks doesn't mean your game is completely over. Yeah, there's something to be said about resilience. You have to make sure that people on the bottom feel comfortable and think they're in control. I think that's a lesson you'll basically learn every season. Information choosing when how to share it is still the most potent weapon in the game. Cut to Michael going nuclear over Kyle. I think it's a unique circumstance there. I don't think there's too much takeaway. Don't discount people you think have no chance because they may turn around and win the game. It's a good point. Don't let your number 1 ally get backdoored when you're the veto holder. Okay, well, that seems specific. Yeah, it's basically the gist. The crash test dummies for Kevin, it was more than just the crash test dummies, though. It was like, there was that kind of whole contingent, like Betty was thrown in there, and like, it was Josh and Helena and Marty. Like, it wasn't as simple as, here's my alliance of 5 or 6, or here's my final 3. Like, there was a whole kind of brigade put together to vote out Tanisha that carried Kevin through most of the rest of the game. And then, the classic Reddit question, which past house sketch would you love to see for another season? All right, what do you guys think is the first name we see in the comments? What do we think the first name is? My guess is going to be Vanessa Russo. I feel like that's always the first answer. Willie Hance, you think, Mike? Taylor, America, Tucker. Tucker's a good guess, but it is Reddit. I think Tucker's a little less popular on Reddit. Nick Uhas, that'd be a hot take. Michael. All right, let's see. Locked in. This person says Shelley. Eric Stein. Yeah. Eric Stein's a classic Reddit answer. The number one answer. This is responding to the question. Oh, McCrae. Wow. McCrae and Eric Stein. All right. Anyone say McCrae in chat? I remember someone said Tucker was top 10 new era. I was astounded. Some people view the game differently, and they're wrong, but it's okay. Jen Johnson, Joseph from BB24. It's an interesting answer. I'd love to see Joseph back. Brooklyn. I think Brooklyn's low-key a good choice. The problem is you got to cast insane people around Brooklyn because she is a pretty stable presence. You see McCrae going in on Aaron? Nah. Here's a few of mine. Oh, wow. We got some... Oh, the 50-plus season. I like that. Allison, Nicole, Hardy, June, Will, April, Jen, Eric. Oh, wait. You guys are going to be pissed. Okay. So I did this this mother tier list, and I forgot about Jen Johnson. I put Jessica. Nah, it's Jen Johnson. Let me correct that record before we even get towards the presentation, because I fear my Big Brother commentator credibility might go out the window. Let me... I'm canceling my sub. Yeah, let me get in front of that issue. Okay, all right, we're good. We're back. Get rid of the evidence. Tiffany from BB23. I would be very interested in Tiffany playing again. Nick, BB15. I could do without it, but it'd be an interesting call. Cody from BB19. Because the first week twist, Den of Temptation. Yeah, Cody got screwed, but he also is the worst. A lot of old school names here. Yeah, honestly, a more unique comment section than I was expecting. Ooh, spoilers. But let's talk about the presentation, because today's a Mother's Day, or is Mother's Day. It's time to celebrate the mothers all across Big Brother history, and there's quite a few of them. Now, I want to be very clear about the objective of the stream. It's not to put two bad bitches against each other. You know, that's not the purpose. We're celebrating all these people. Ultimately, I want to choose an ultimate mother, who is the mother of Big Brother, generally speaking. We're not going to do a whole ranking, so we're just kind of celebrating one person the most. We're not like doing a tier list or anything. And we went through every season. We chose who I chose who I believe is the mother of said season. This mother word is not always, you don't necessarily have to be a mom, right? It is a certain amount of slang to it. Sometimes you are a mom, sometimes you're not. And, really it was kind of a vibes-based selection for me. I don't think there's going to be too many disagreements in the chat, in my opinion. I think I did a pretty chalk list. So, we're going to start with Season 2. I don't care about Season 1. You can't pay me to care about Season 1. Who's the mother of Season 1? Julie Chen Moonves. Or I guess at that point, Julie Chen. So, let's talk about Season 2. Does anyone have any predictions about who the mother from Season 2 is? In my opinion, there was two valid options, and I went with one of them. JJ says Monica or Nicole in chat. I'm seeing basically Monica and Nicole. A few more Monicas. One Cheryl. Shout out to Cheryl. I think it's Monica Bailey. I don't think it's particularly close at all. I think Nicole just has a little bit more baggage of it was a little bit messier, and I think people have more polarized opinions about Nicole. Monica is kind of the epitome of just mother, right? I don't think there's exactly too much discourse. The first ever robbed goddess, I think, is accurate. What was her phrase that she always said? It cracked me up. She had one saying that was like, oh, this is the Monica saying. Come on, I know you guys know it. I know you've watched the BB2 compilations. It's on. That's right. It's on. And it's on could mean anything. It's kind of like John in Philly dialect. And it is on. So Monica, the mother of season 2, in some ways the original Big Brother mother. It's a shame we never saw her back. I do think, like, after Big Brother 7, I don't know if there's, like, much of a reason to bring back Monica outside of just, like, a huge throwback. I think it'd be so hard for her to get any real footing in the game. But I think on BB7, like, take out Erica, put in Monica, especially with Will and Boogie being in there. I think it could have been a really fun dynamic. And, of course, she was, in the voting process. A lot of win equity, too. Season 3, is there an ounce of ambiguity? Let's be real. Amy's chill. Love Amy. But do we have to even talk about this very much? Yeah, it's Danielle Reyes, an actual mother as well at the time of the season. And now, but, she was already a mother at this time. I think you could say this is one of the biggest mothering seasons in Big Brother history. One of the GOATs. Went on to Reindeer Games, went on to Traders, kind of, I think, helped her legacy, in my opinion, with Traders, especially Reindeer Games. I just don't give a shit about. Comes back on BB7. Another really good showing. Again, I think it's hard to look at BB7 and be like, that hurt her legacy. That's silly. But she's just awesome. Like, first person to really fucking crush the diary room in the way that she did. Obviously, Will was really good in the DR, but Danielle had her own style, and I think in the modern day, Danielle would be just as much of a fan favorite if it was her first season. I think now if Danielle came back in her current state, I think there'd be more polarized opinions on her just based on what we saw in Traders. And this is maybe a hot take of mine. I think if I could have anyone come back to Big Brother to play a full regular standard season, if I could pick anyone from Big Brother history, it's Danielle Reyes. Which I think is a weird take because, like, we just saw her. But, like, the way we saw her play in Traders, watching her on the feeds would be fucking crazy. I'm just imagining giving live feed updates about Danielle Reyes' game. It would just be so fun. So fun. And you compare that to someone like Dan or Will, who would be scared they just kind of play a character or, try to protect their legacies. Danielle would just go in there and try to win. And, of course, I never had the privilege of watching her play Big Brother live with feeds or anything, so I think Danielle would be my number 1 pick. There's someone like Vanessa who's probably right there as well. I think she's my number 2. I just think, I don't know exactly where Vanessa's at right now, and I do know where Danielle's at right now, so. That's Danielle Reyes. Season 4, I think there's a very highly contested 2-horse race. Who do you guys have winning that race? Katie says Allison. Jacksonia says June. JJ says June. Heather says June. Sarah says June. Sentient Being says June over Allison. Much more June than Allison. And I suppose this will be our first disagreement because I have June as the honorable mention. June would be the mother on 90% of seasons. I'll just, the reason why I have Allison as the actual mother is because I think an extremely important aspect of mothering in Big Brother is fucking over the men, being quite anti-men, destroying the men. And I think Allison is the icon of that. And June was right there doing it too. Allison did it on a deeper level. So again, like, not to put down June. June's incredible. And this, I think if you were to try to pick a, Keystone mother season, it's season 4. Perhaps the best women's alliance in Big Brother history, maybe the friendship, depending on how you view it. But this was truly a mother off. Both of them in the final 2 is so cool. June's a better player. Oh, yeah, that's not up for debate, really. Like, of course. I just think Allison's play regarding the men is what, for me, gives her just the slightest nod over June. I think her coming on All-Stars kind of hurts her case a little bit because she was mostly just anti-Janelle that season, which is like, it'd be more It's not exactly like what you want to see, but it was very fun to watch. She was a hell of a character on BB7 for the short time she was there. But no shade to June. I think of this list, these are going to be like 2 of the top 5 or 10 in this arbitrary ranking. Which takes us to Big Brother 5, a real blind spot for me. I just don't know the season as well. I think my biggest blind spots when it comes to Big Brother are Big Brother 5, 8, and 9. But I did go with Karen. I think Diane is a very, very reasonable choice. I just think, like, unfortunately, when you're trying to be the mother of the season, you can't get cut by your showmates at Final 3. You can't get cut by your showmates at Final 3. It's not her fault. It's a great move by Drew. You just can't do that. You just can't. It ruins it for me, unfortunately. So, no shade to Diane. Like, what are you going to do? She's just trying to win the game. Karen, on the other hand, if she won that season, would have been one hell of a winning game. She was a force in and of herself on the season. I think one of the biggest revolving doors in Big Brother is, what if we had Karen back? I think she could have done very well. One of the most dramatic, not holdouts, but like, they should have had her on BB7. I think this was a no-brainer, especially with the lack of people they had from Big Brother 5. Again, I hate to be hard on Erica, but take out Erica, put on Karen. I think we're in for a much better season. IMO. Nokomis, I don't have anything bad to say about Nokomis. She's cool. But I just think Karen has her beat here. I mean, like, the women on Big Brother All-Stars are pretty amazing. Like, there's not that many people who you'd say, like, oh, they shouldn't have been on. So, like, again, no shade to Erica, really. But, like, Danielle Reyes is a yes. Allison's a yes. Diane's a yes. Janelle's a yes. Like, these are all kind of superstars. Okay. Season 6. I mean, do I have to say it? Mother Bo. Maggie needs some love. It's Janelle. The way I did honorable mentions, it's not just like, oh, are you worthy of an honorable mention? It's how close were you to the other person who I chose? Maggie is not close to Janelle on this season. I think Janelle on season 6 could be like, along with Danielle, along with Allison, like might be peak Mother and Big Brother. Just insane. Whole house against her. So many comp wins, getting so close to winning. The entire fan base on her side. But that is another part of this label. It's like, how much is the fan base rooting for you? Janelle might have had the most support of any house guest ever. Frankly, it's hard to say with social media. But like, even when we've seen her come back on like BB22, it's like, it's still there. The support's still there. So, Janelle's so overhyped. In the moment, I think you got to put it in perspective of like, what are you going to do? And season 7, I think this 2-season run is one of the most legendary runs in Big Brother history and reality TV history. Just, like, she was in the same position both times. I think she plays much worse in BB7 than BB6. But even still, just the run she goes on back to back with the target on her back, both seasons, frankly. Season 7, she has that target going into it. It's pretty astounding. Shout-outs to Janelle. I'll be meeting her in person for the first time soon, so hopefully she's watching the stream. But I have a lot of respect for Janelle. I didn't mean to do that, but, Jen's BB8, that wasn't clear, so shout-outs to Janelle. I think it's pretty hard to debate. In season 7, there's a lot of people you could pick. I think Danielle is the other option, but it's Janelle. Jen, let's be real. It's a shame we haven't had her on our TV since. The fact that we got so close so recently and we're not going to get it is fucking atrocious. Jamaica is in consideration. Jessica is in consideration, but it's Jen. I think another thing that helps, women in this like character archetype is like when you have a really hateable villain on the other side. She had Evil Dick, who obviously people were rooting for Evil Dick more than Jen probably at the time. But when I watched the season, and I think, when a lot of you guys rewatch the season or think about the season, having her as a force against Evil Dick is pretty awesome. And I think the problem with Danny Briones in this season is like she just was in such lockstep with her dad. It's just hard to give her that spot. But it's Jen. It's very unambiguous. Are you guys ready to hear me ramble about a season of Big Brother that I really have no idea? Like I'm just gonna speak out of my ass on this next one. Are you guys ready for season 9? I got Sharon, and Sheila was the other option, but Sharon got really close to winning and got robbed. That's my analysis. She got robbed by production. That's all I got. Robbed by the hamsters. Should be Chelsea. Katie, you could show me 100 pictures. Or show me 2 pictures of 2 women. I cannot tell you who Chelsea is. I know she exists. Her last name is Hart, maybe? Chelsea Hart. Is that right? Making that up? I don't know. I don't know who that is. I might have made that up. It's right. Okay. Yeah. So I guess there's something in the back of my brain that knows something about Chelsea. But congrats to Sharon. What an honor. Let's go to season 10. Now I want to talk about season 10 because season 10 on this list has the most names of any season. I think there's 4 people who are undyingly deserving of this award. And first up, I have Michelle Costa. I think she might only have 1 L in her name. Might have misspelled that. But, yeah, Michelle's insane, incredible. It's so much fun. Underdog for so much of the season. So confrontational. Still, votes for the better player at the end of the day. Just icon. One of my favorite runs on any season of Big Brother. And the fact that she's not the mother of the season in my eyes is just a testament to the other women on the cast. Next up, Libra. Again, we almost got more Libra on our TV screens, and we didn't, and I'm pissed about it. You're pissed about it. I don't know if she's pissed about it. Katie added permitted term. She's a fucking whore, slut, skank. Good. Thank you, Katie. So now everyone feel free to add that to your vernacular. But Libra, icon. Keisha's birthday isn't Keisha's birthday without Libra being there. Libra and April's conversations were insane. Just one of the most underrated Big Brother characters. And even still, I think a lot of people rate her quite highly in that department. So it's really saying something. Which takes us to another honorable mention, Keisha Smith. And again, the fact that Keisha, in my opinion, is not the mother of the season is ridiculous. On 99% of seasons, Keisha is that person. So much fun. I don't know. I feel like they don't cast people like Keisha anymore. I think if they cast a version of Keisha these days, it would be a hyper influencer, which obviously Keisha was not. And she's insane and incredible and fun and super confrontational, and her being evicted was so sad, and she was so bitter, and it was so funny. Just absolute legend. April's the first name off this list, No, I did not give her an honorable mention. Which leads us to the number 1 pick, who I think is the only actual mother of these 4, unless Libra might be a mom, I'm not sure. Rennie. She's up there. She's one of the mothers of Big Brother history. Just, it's very rare that casting misses with this archetype of the woman in their upper 40s, early 50s, even older than that. This archetype is kind of fucking incredible. Doesn't Libra have twins? I don't know. Certainly. She's an actual mother. Sure. Well, Rennie as well. And time zones, one of the funniest segments in Big Brother history. Her conversations and fights with Jerry, secretly some of my favorite Big Brother moments ever. Watching those live feed clips is so fun. All of her interactions with Dan, incredible. Her interaction with Jesse, incredible. It's inappropriate. She's an absolute icon. Someone I would be desperate to meet. But I don't know if I'll get that chance. Shout out Trenny. In potentially the most contested season in the Mother Off, I think. She inches ahead of the rest. Season 11. A much narrower field. In Dow says I'd go Jordan. Some people are saying Michelle. I wouldn't hate the Jordan pick. I was a Jordan fan, but it's Shima. What I said about how powerful and important it is to have somebody who you're going against who's like evil, Shima embodies that more than anybody. Because she's not just going against Jeff. Jeff is one thing. She was going against Allison Grodner and BB Production. And I've met a lot of production. They're very nice people. I met Grodner. She's very nice. This is Mother. Shima throwing her mic in the pool is so funny. Especially after the coup d'etat. Like, this is iconic behavior. I don't know what to say. Threw that mic with her whole chest. It's just insane behavior. I've been in that house. I can't. The audacity to do that is wild. Jordan smashing her boobs fighting Russell. Well, it's a good moment too. I think Jordan's number 2 on this list, with Ronnie being number 3. But Jordan, specifically for her fights with Russell, get her in the conversation. But look, one was fighting Russell. The other was fighting the man, as in BB Production. Let's talk about season 12. Because season 12 there's not that many options, but there's 2 really, really competitive options. And it's close. For me, the honorable mention, I did Rachel Riley. Why? She had less time. She was out pretty early. It's kind of that's really the only reason. I think Brittany had more of an impact. Her in the diary room was way too iconic. You could, nitpick and be like, well, she was aligned with all the men, but she didn't even really know that. She didn't know about the brigade. So, I wouldn't hold that against her. The way she'd make fun of everyone, Brendan specifically is, I think, my favorite insult she would make. The fight with Reagan, I think, I'm talking about Brittany. Rachel, it goes without saying. I mean, basically a Janelle-type run, except she didn't get to the end. House target, winning a ton of competitions, getting in a ton of confrontations. What are you going to do? This is just typical Big Brother mother behavior. She just goes out a little too early. Then I have Brittany Haynes, who is Brittany Haynes, and she does Brittany Haynes things in the diary room, and she made it to the final 4. Not, it's not that complicated. Of these 2, you can't go wrong, frankly. Big Brother 13. This might sound surprising. Same number of mothers, in my opinion, as Big Brother 10. Tied for the most. And it's less iconic, I think, but I think every one of these people is deserving of being called mother. I'm just going to breeze through the honorable mentions. I have Danny, Kalia, and Portia. All 3 of these players were working together very closely. They were all going against the vets in different capacities. And I think Danny has probably the best case for, being the mother on this side, because she was really kind of leading the charge. Kalia, too. I don't have Shelly on this list. Just kind of outside of the game stuff. But all 3 of these players targeting Jeff Schroeder. That's mother behavior. But ultimately, it's Rachel's season. Look, you take away the title from her on BB12. If you come back and then win the next season in the same confrontational nature, winning all those comps, having that personality, outlasting your showmans twice, there's not too much ambiguity in my mind. This is Rachel's season. So, There you go. Look, I couldn't take the title away from Rachel twice. Twice? That'd be ridiculous. She got bailed out of Final Six with a duo twist. I don't think you're understanding the nature of this exercise, all ranks. If we want to critique winning games, I have a lot to say about Rachel's game and a lot of these people's games, but yeah, no, it's not exactly what we're doing today. So shout outs to Rachel. Surviving the block against Jeff too. Pretty iconic. So shout outs to Rachel, one of the ultimate mothers in Big Brother history. All right, any season 14 predictions? I found this one to be very difficult. Gen City. So I did default to Brittany, and I think it's well-deserved. I think she plays an even better game on this season, despite going out much earlier. I think she was in a winning position. I think she's kind of running the house for the most part. But it's obviously not the same run that she has on BB12. She's a much bigger character there, where BB14, kind of Dan and Ian take hold of that story. But nah, it's Brittany. You got her for a full season. She's really fun. Dan kind of mothered. You can't give Dan that title. I would never give the title of mother to a guy. It's fucked up. Jody. Look, Jody would have been a good honorable mention. So BB15, I do have an honorable mention, but only because I thought it was a very close call between the two people. But who do you guys have as mother for BB15? See a lot of Helen, a lot of Jesse, Amanda, Candace. Alyssa is an honorable mention. Just because she, like, everything that you would put in that box of, like, mother is, like, on the bottom and surviving the block and being the underdog and all these things. That's her. But ultimately, by the way, yeah, R ranks, we don't joke about that horrible human being. So, there's a warning. But I think it's Helen. To this day, Helen is a figure in the Big Brother universe. A woman in her archetype to play such a fierce, leading the pack, running her alliance game is just dope, frankly. And she didn't play very well when she got on top. She was pushed, of course. But she was awesome. Just a bright spot in a not-so-bright season. You got people like Amanda, who's like, okay, I guess she fits some of the definitions, but I don't need to celebrate Amanda on this day. Who else? I mean, Jesse. I like Jesse a lot. I just don't think there's enough there. Gina Marie, I'm not exactly considering. I don't know. Candace, again, I just don't think she had the longevity, but I'd be fine if someone wanted to celebrate Candace. Amanda was racist. Yeah. I mean, again, I got a prerequisite to being mother is not being a terrible person. So, we go into season 16, which I found to be one of the trickiest seasons, but I'm very happy with the answer I came to. Manwolf brings up Victoria. Heather brings up Amber. BB Musing brings up Jocasta. Nicole. Brittany. There's a lot of basically just naming all the women on the cast. Some would say Joey for trying to form the Women's Alliance, but my answer... Hey. Try to cancel me. Hey. You know what? Sorry. What happened in No Men? Well, there's exceptions. There's always one exception. Look, I like a lot of the women in BB16. A lot of them are great, but I think there's a gap between Donnie and whoever would be second. Donnie had to overcome the handicap of being a man in this calculation. Also, America, don't act like you didn't help me make this decision earlier. I was like, I think I'm going to have Donnie be the... And she laughed, so... Don't switch up on me now, okay? More like, oh, mother. Nice one. As long as you don't put Beast Mode Cowboy in, I'm fine. Well, I got bad news for my Survivor Cow Wrong mother ranking. Is there going to be a stream where he doesn't lie? When you say he, do you mean me? Because that's confusing because I don't lie. You mean Game Changers? Nope. I mean Kauron. Goat. Beast mode mother. Yeah. Ty would be mother. Nah, you got Aubrey and Michelle there. And Sydney. That's a mother-filled season. Also, Aubrey rumored for Traders. Is that real or just total bullshit I saw on, like, America's Twitter? Is Debbie a mother? I could write a 25-page thesis on that question. I would need to consult expert sources. Seems legit, possibly real. From what I see about the Traders cast, I'm let down by the reality competition people they're going for, and I'm encouraged by the, like, Bravo people they're getting. The reality TV people, I can go without a lot of them. Aubrey's not one of them. I like Aubrey. And I think Russell Hantz is a fucking spectacular pick. Like, come on. Like, Russell Hantz, I mean, I hate the dude, but, like, is there any way he doesn't get banished immediately? He'll always make good TV. He's like the most hateable villain in reality TV history. I don't know. Do people remember him is the question? I just don't understand how you could see this dude and not get terrible vibes. Season 17. Another slightly boring season. Look, you can make a real case on most seasons for Jackie, for Becky, for Meg. A lot of super likable women on the season. But it's, well, I forgot about Dave Hahn, first of all. Honorable mention. Come on. It's like 2-3 week run. Come on. But it's Vanessa. It's Vanessa. I don't know. There's not that much to say about it. It's just like, you know, one of the strongest female players in Big Brother history. Most insane games in Big Brother history. She weaponizes every aspect of herself to win the game. She gaslights, gatekeeps, girl bosses. What is a mother if not that? Look at the fit. She's clearly a mother. Yeah. This is also the corniest, cringiest stream I've ever done, by the way. There's so, like, I'd be so embarrassed watching this stream, but, you know, it's not about me today. It's about the women in Big Brother history and Donnie. I think Audrey, too, deserves a shout-out. Just not there long enough. Did you realize how much you've been saying mother? Yeah, and I'm cringing every time. I'm trying to get through the stream. Uplifting women isn't corny, King. No, I know that. It's just the verbiage and, like, I don't think it sounds natural, the words I'm saying and the order in which I'm saying them. Okay. Season 18. I had to go slightly unconventional here. Frankie Udy. Now, who do you guys think for season 18? Because, you know, Davon, Zakiya, Bridget, a lot of options. Look, I think people are going to be upset that I don't immediately have Davon here. Don't worry, Davon's time will come. I want to highlight Davon, and I will, I promise. I don't think 18 is her season. No one has predicted the answer. It's the Spy Girls. As a collective in their alliance. This is his mother. I don't know what to say. Top, like, 5 alliance in Big Brother history in terms of just how much I like them. How fun it is. Davon's great. Shout-outs to Nicole. I love Nicole's BB18 game. One of my favorite games of all time. But, come on. This is so sick. What an adorable alliance. So, this is one of my favorite contingents in Big Brother history. Pauly Calafiore was robbed. I was gonna say Zakiya just for the way she was treated by Paulie, but feels like a bummer to bring that up. James Hewling is robbed. Not sure if I agree with that assessment, but hey. Anonymous. Thank you for gifting 5 subs. Also, shout outs to Sydney if you're still here for the 16 months, and Christina for the 17 months, and Mike for the 17 months. Appreciate you guys. And thank you, Anonymous. 5 subs. You're crazy. It's nice to see some gifted subs in the chat, not from myself after failing Big D Brant Steele attempts. It's a nice reminder of, oh, gifted subs isn't a bad thing. Day in the Jury House was pretty cool. Season 19. It may seem like a tough season to pick. I didn't have any trouble. I didn't have any trouble picking on this season. Dominique, good choice, just not there long enough. I fear it's just Raven. For all the wrong reasons, for all the right reasons, I don't really care. It's just the answer to the question. If College Board made an exam saying who was the mother of Big Brother 19, I fear Raven would be the answer. Sorry. And I like Elena too. I'm an Elena fan, but it's Raven. Megan for getting out of there. Best choice she could have made. Jillian, also mother. Yeah, no, I probably should have given more consideration to Jillian. For final time, though, thank you, Anonymous. I appreciate it. Her story. This is her story. Great picture, too. Just iconic. I honestly liked Raven. I think Raven is a positive presence on Big Brother. She definitely, like, takes part in the brigading and the bullying that happens. She's not innocent of that, but having one, like, delusional person to the point where it's... You can't... On Raven on a lot of other seasons could be fun. She could be like a Caitlin Herman if she was on BB20. You know? It just so happened she was on BB19, so, like, a lot of her antics became more toxic. You know what I mean? Or reveal themselves to be toxic. Or at least they have the capacity to be toxic. And hey, she wasn't bitter about the game. She wasn't. Mostly because she thought she was still, like, you know, the decision maker. Big Brother 20. This was a really hard one to come up with. I had a lot of trouble coming up with this list because my gut told me Caitlyn, but I just couldn't find it in my heart to answer Caitlyn. I couldn't do it. In a Big Brother context, I get Caitlyn being the answer. I see a lot of Angelas, a lot of Haleys. For me, it was between 2 people, and it was extremely close. Rockstar. Honestly, I should have. Rockstar should be in consideration. I didn't put Rockstar. I'm between Bailey and Haley, and I went with Haley. You know, I think Bailey deserves a shout out. She had a 2-season stretch there. A lot of mother attributes. Was quite a good player too at the start of BB20. But Haley, I think, was, you know, not the leader of ffwd, but definitely the best player within ffwd, and was the only one who kind of knew the layout of the house and was that underdog woman you're rooting for, and it obviously never works out for that underdog woman, except for, you know, one example we'll talk about later. Rockstar deserves an honorable mention, 100%. She's great. But Haley, I think, was a great choice. Like, she's just great. And she, you know, is married to an excellent role player. What more could you want? Best player in ffwd with a compliment, literally. She chose Fessy. Hey. She went from Fessy to Alex Caruso. If that's not mother behavior, I don't know what is. Come on. With someone who has that great point of attack defense, like, let's be real. This is icon behavior and nothing less. Okay, let's talk about season 21. I think it's unambiguous. Sorry, I think there's a clearer answer. I see Kemi, I see Nicole, Jessica. I see mostly Jessica's, and I'm glad you guys agree. Jessica Milagros. Never has one player's legacy changed so much based on one crapshoot competition. I was very actively engaged in watching BB21, It was probably one of my biggest fandom seasons, not in terms of how much I liked the season. I was just really locked in. And I think people forget just how, not despised, but people really were not a fan of Jessica because she was kind of lost in the game. She didn't have much information. It was just kind of frustrating to watch. She got one HOH, threw Jackson and Jack on the block, and cemented herself as a Big Brother icon. It's that simple. And she won the veto too, which I think is probably the most underrated part of that week. Her winning the veto against them, so funny. So sick. So, shout outs to Jessica Milagros. Met her in person. Delightful human being. So much fun. One of the best weeks in BB history. I don't think that's a super hot take. Maybe it is just because people don't like BB21, but what a mother. What a season. Let's talk about Big Brother 22, because it was a weird season. We had a lot of mothers returning, and then I think a lot of said mothers had a tough time on the season and maybe lost some mother street cred. But I do think on this season, it's Davon's mother season. This is where everyone's rooting for her. She's an underdog. She's going against the evil committee, going against Christmas, going against Memphis, winning a veto to save herself. I think this might be... No, I think it definitely is her best gameplay season. Wasn't perfect, but I think this is her strongest showing. Winning that tiny veto is just... I think like a top 5 moment in Big Brother Twitter history. Which, just take that for what it is. I think the mother convention is often on Twitter. You wanted to provoke me. I'm provoked. I will stand by till the end of the time. Or till the end of time. She was on the wrong side of the personal game information argument. But I'm not going to say Christmas was on the right side of it. So, shit. What do you want me to do? I really wish BB22 was better. Top 5 worst seasons. For me, it's like... It is bottom 5, but it's probably like the 5th worst season. I just enjoyed seeing all these players play together. And I think they actually did a really good job in casting with like 2 or 3 exceptions. She makes it far. She made it relatively far. Cody ruined that season. I have no animosity towards Cody for that season. Cody was trying to win and he won. Pre-gaming, I just don't care. I'm very high in Cody's game in 22. Just because the level of difficulty on that cast and the extent of the dominance. But if you want to say he's the reason the season sucked, I actually disagree. I think Memphis is the reason it sucked. That's my hot take. Let's break up the mother convention for a while. It's time to talk about Cody and Memphis. I think Memphis ruined the season creating the committee. Because Cody didn't give a shit about the committee. He was open to working with everyone, playing the field. Memphis created the committee and then won too many comps, him and Christmas. And that's what ruined it. And then the committee started steamrolling. So, that's all I'm going to say. Look at it this way. I'm using my platform on Mother's Day to shit talk Memphis. Am I mother? How did that work out? Isn't that pretty good? So, Davon Rogers, icon. She goes on to do a lot more shows where she, cements this title. Season 23. I'm always conflicted when I do these kinds of things, but I do fear there's a correct answer. I think it's just Tiffany. And, shout outs to Claire and Hannah. I don't know. It's just Tiffany. There's something, look, it's very rare that we get a woman, especially, I even hate saying this, a woman of Tiffany's age, she in her, mid-40s during the season, early 40s, something like that, just dominate the season in the fashion she did well in comps. Probably wins the season, if not for, obviously, the cookout and their mission. She's 42. Yeah, she was early 40s. It was a cool thing to watch, and she did it in such a tactful way. Of the new era, I had her as the second best player. I stand by that. I think in a vacuum, if you put me on a lie detector, I think I say she's probably the best player, to be honest. But I do think resume is an important aspect of these rankings, and that's where I think Chelsea is right above Tiffany. But, bottom of my heart, I do think Tiffany's probably the best player we've seen in quite a while. She's more flawed than Chelsea. Well, I think the game was more complicated that season than Chelsea's game, which again, maybe that's a credit to Chelsea and a diss to Tiffany. I don't know, but it's just like, look, that's just like my subconscious. It's what I think. So, Tiffany, season 23. I didn't have that much trouble picking this one, and I had even less trouble picking the next season. I would love to see this mother off between Tiffany and this next person. It's obviously Indy. No, it's Taylor. I mean, she won. It's crazy. Winning from that position, being the underdog the whole season, winning those. It's a little bit, a wee bit obvious in my mind who deserves this exact title. Brittany. I love Brittany, but it's an easy one, unfortunately. Now, look, I don't have anything to say about Taylor. It just is what it is. I feel like everything about Taylor has been said before. 25. I think there's 3 extremely valid options. I want to be very clear. America and I have already talked about what my selection for 25 is going to be. The first honorable mention is Suri Fields. The only time in Big Brother history we had a legitimate mother on the cast in terms of, like, she was mothering to 2 children in there. Arguably 3 or 4. But, definitively 1. Come on. It's Suri Fields. What are we doing? Her son was on the cast. It's crazy. Number 2, obviously you guys are not. Yeah, Izzy would be a good pick too. I have America as an honorable mention. America does absolutely everything a mother on the season would be. When I talked to America, she did say she thought Felicia was more deserving of the title. So I don't want you to act like this is me saying I prefer Felicia to America, because that could not be further from the truth. But I think America, look. We met Jair. Felicia's simultaneously mother and a mother. And, look, these are 3 top-tier candidates in this category. For me, the mother of all time, though, which sounds weird. And, look, here's the thing. You know when you think of a joke and, you're like, shit, am I really going to say this? And for me, I always end up saying it. I should just say it, right? Look, if this was, instead of a mother off, a mommy off, of course America would win. So, yeah. So, the mommy of the season is very clearly America Lopez, M-O-M-M-Y and M-A-M-I, so... shout outs to mommy. How do I scrub my brain? She's gonna have to scrub her brain after this. But yeah, Felicia. I mean, this archetype doesn't miss. Come on, it doesn't miss. Let's be real. It's for every reason why Rennie was iconic. Felicia's right there too. She wins HOH, takes out Heisem, has HOH-itis. Is shit talking everyone on the feeds, calling out everyone, and her speeches and during fights and everything. She's up there. And then season 26. There's some good options. Chelsea's cool, and there's some cool people, but let's be real. It's just Angela. Brooklyn's cool too. It's just Angela. Lisa. I was very tempted to do Lisa honorable mention, but what are you going to do? See a lot of Nas and S in the chat. Come on. I feel like I was so high on Brooklyn and her game that now you guys have overcorrected to view Brooklyn as this Big Brother legend and icon. And I love Brooklyn, but it certainly, I think the needle has gone too far this way. But Angela honestly earned this title on fucking day 3 or 4, whatever day it was, where she marched down from the HOH room. No OTT or celebrity. OTT, I guess, would be either like Danielle or Shelby, I guess. Maybe Chrissy. It's up to you. And then celebrities, I don't care too much. Not you gatekeeping the Brooklyn was good opinion. Brooklyn was good, but you know. So that does it. We're not going to do a big Google form or poll or anything for this because, again, I don't want to make it a competition. I want everyone in chat just to tell me who your ultimate big mother is. Again, it's a pun. I'm not calling these mothers big, to be clear. But I feel very strong about my opinion, big picture. It's Danielle Reyes, Brittany, Rennie, Allison, Janelle, Davon, Rachel, Janelle, Angela, recency bias, Angela, Brand Steele with his cast. We've done enough Brand Steels. And we'll start next stream with another Big D attempt, but Danielle, Brittany, Taylor, Allison, Monica. For me, it's tough. It's so tough. For me, it's between two people, and it's pretty close. I think it's Janelle or Rachel. And my leaning is Rachel. The thing about Janelle is, like, I think there's more, like, marks against her, and on 14 and 22, like, especially on 22, I don't think helped her case, really. Rachel had 2 seasons, iconic on both, wins her second season. For me, that's the answer, but, you know, it's really splitting hairs between those two. But every single woman on this list is deserving of, you know, every single woman and Donnie on this list are deserving of the title. So that's the stream, y'all. I mean, it was a fun one. I just wanted to, you know, celebrate some of the wonderful women in Big Brother, especially Donnie. Who's the ultimate survivor mother? I think people would probably say Suri, to be honest, right? Feels like a pretty... Maybe Kim Spradlin. I think Kim is maybe the... Kim and Parvati. Kim, Parvati, and Suri. Sandra, of course. Emily Flippin. Hey, of the new era. But that'll do it. I gotta go to Whole Foods. I'm trying to remember why. Oh, I'm gonna get dinner. Well, that makes sense. That wasn't that hard to figure out. I'm gonna get some spinach tortellini is the plan. Sounds good, right? A lot of butter, red pepper flakes, Parmesan cheese. Woo-wee. Everyone, I implore you to treat yourself in the same way as I will on this wonderful Mother's Day. Is any of the friends live today? Any of the compadres? If you guys say Quinn, I'm going to jump off the balcony. Not that I see, don't think so. That works for me. I could send you guys all to mom. Joe, perfect. Kai Sonata streaming, perfect. All right, well, I appreciate you guys. Maybe a stream tomorrow. I don't see why not. But worst case, 2 days from now. It's one of the two. Probably tomorrow.